beginning to the end. Yes, no place for argument. You are Lord all by your side. One more time. Are gone from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are Lord all by yourself. Father, in the name of Jesus. Amen. Most High God, we thank you, Father. We adore you, Father. We lift up your name. Now we magnify you, we glorify your name. Father, you are the King of Kings, you are the Lord of Lords, you are the Ancient of Days. Now we thank you for today. It's a brand new day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Now we thank you because we slept and woke up healthy this morning. It's not everybody that slept down yesterday night that woke up this morning or woke up early. But it has pleased you, Father, to make us to wake up healthy this morning. Father, that is our miracle today. It has started and it will continue in the name of Jesus. Amen. Father, we glorify you, we worship you. Father, we pray for your unction and your presence here this morning, Father, to take absolute control. Father, everything that we do here today, let your spirit guide us so that at the end of the day, we will have a fruitful deliberation. Amen. To your own glory in Jesus' name. Amen. You can sit down. So the topic we have here is as you are seeing on your screen. And the thing is sliding. There may be some maybe additional things I will say or some additional point that will come to my mind that I may add. Let's start. We have just about 1 hour of the teaching, and then we go into questions and rubbing of mind and the interaction. Yeah, and a little overview of what we are going to look at today. I want to look at the word navigate. In the beginning, the origin of land ownership, the need for documentation. Then, later on, we'll go to the pitfalls proper. We'll also look at types of title and types of documents. Look at family titles in family, land, receipts, registered survey, agreements, C of O partially. Then we look at gazette and excision. Then we look at the B part. There's also under family land, deed of partition, and then registered conveyance. And under state government lands and local government land, we have letter of allocation, we have C of O, we have consent. Then there are also federal government lands. Then there's also title to land that has to come with a court judgments. Then we also have irrevocable power of attorney for value. Then later on, we look briefly at the Land Use Act. We look at the legal position of federal government lands in Nigeria. Then we go to the pitfalls. We have things like looking at carelessness or negligence in not visiting property sites. And we look at the problem associated with global C of O. We look at the nature of the land use. We look at cloning of C of O. Look at identity of the owner. We look at spouse selling property of late husband stroke wife. We look at spouse selling property of husband stroke wife living abroad. We look at mortgage or deposit of title deeds and subsequent purchasers. We look at problem associated with part payment transactions. Then we look at method of payment that is trying to tell us to avoid cash payments. We look at selling through power of attorney. Look at illiterate jurat. Then we look at survey, the need for chatting and all that. Then look at property that are unusually cheap. Then occasionally one may have to use video evidence in certain instances. Then we look at double allocation. Then we look at special pitfalls associated with family lands. One, difficulty of ascertaining ownership. Two, selling and reselling by family members. Three, family tussle as to family head and principal members. And we look at actual organized court cases from rival families. Look at family incursion into government land. Look at identifying the real family connected with excision and gazette. We look at government acquisition of family land. Praise the Lord. Let's start. I'll need a chair. I think I need to sit down. So the word navigate. When you look at the word navigate, you find out that it means that there needs to be a guide, a route, method. It's not a direction. When they say navigate, it means that somebody needs to be careful about it. It's something that is technical. It's something that needs professional advice. When they talk of navigating a ship, navigating an aircraft, if you don't know and have the knowledge how to navigate, how to pilot a ship on an aircraft, of course, you know it is dangerous to go and do it. So there is need for a guide. When we are talking of the next slide, in the beginning, when we are talking of in the beginning, we remember Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created heaven and the earth. It is that earth that has gone through the process of ownership from that time. When God created heaven and earth, did he allocate any land to anybody? Did anybody own anything? Now everybody is buying. Nobody is even remembering the God that created the heaven and earth. Everybody is buying, speculating, and making money. Then we look at the origin of land ownership. So how did this land eventually come, that land that God created eventually come to be owned by one person or the other, or families? Started with family ownership. In the olden time, either through war, some people acquired the land. Either some even use charms to acquire land. They say this land is my own. By the time another person that wants to collect the land enters there and die, everybody will run away and that land will remain for that person. So there is war and then there is famine. In the olden time, as much as you can have the strength to farm, if you farm that land over time, the assumption is that land becomes yours. So that's how land has evolved over the ages before we now come to the stage where government now had to say, we have to find a way to regulate these things. And then the normal legal titles and ownership started coming in. Then we look at the need for documentation. If you go to even our Bible time, if you look at Genesis 23:17, you see where Abraham bought land. He wanted a land for burying place for his wife, and then the people wanted to offer him the thing free. He said, no, I need to pay for it, because he knows that whatever is given to him free can be collected back. So he said it was wise. He said, no, I have the money, tell me how much. They mentioned how much, and then he paid. And if you look at that verse, They said the boundary, everything about the land was made sure. That was what King James Version used. Made sure meant that there was an agreement, and there must have been a kind of survey. Or if survey was not existing at that time, there must have been a way they described the boundaries of the land. That is what they meant by made sure. Yeah. So pitfalls, I said, step down. So let's look at type of titles and documents. Some of them are not quite titles. They are just like documents, and there are steps to proper title. But at least some of them you can use it, and then you are in possession of the land while you procure and process the actual title. One, family land. The first one that the family will give you, immediately they sell land to his family receipt. And that's the most important one, family land. If you have family receipt, you can resell the land. But if you have agreement and you don't have family receipt, no person will buy that land from you. That's the first thing you will request for. And then you request for agreement, family agreement. That receipt and agreement may either be freehold or leasehold. Originally, families normally sell their land outright, but now they're becoming wiser. They want to leave opportunity for their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, because by the time they will come up, there may be no land again to sell. But if it is leasehold, in years to come, maybe they give you 60 years to buy, either family or individual. And then it has a maybe deed of assignment. Then the thing you may want to know to kind of troubleshoot. Or if the family is giving you land and the only thing they are offering you is a registered survey. So what do? You go take it to the Surveyor General's office to do what they call charting. You chart it. The charting will indicate if there's a conflicting survey that has been registered for the whole parcel of land or part of it. Then that will alert you that somebody or another family is having interest in that land. So you now have to be careful if it is only that registered survey that they are giving you. Then after that one, you have a C of O. It's not really part of the title of family land, but if you are armed with your receipt, family receipt and the agreement, the next stage is for you now to go and get your C of O in your name. But of recent, because of the difficulty and problem of identifying the real family that owns where and where, especially in Lagos, then the government introduced what they call excision and the gazette. Lagos State is far advanced compared to so many other states. If it's most other states, if you want to buy family properties like a jump in the dark, you don't know where to land because you don't even know where to start asking. But by virtue of excision and gazette, the government would have identified that, oh, these are the rightful family for this large expanse of land. And when they are doing the excision, they will normally attach a survey to it. An excision is a kind of carving out a portion of land out of the whole area of that place, saying that it belongs to so family. It will be attached with a survey so that one can easily identify from the survey the expanse of the land and where it starts and where it stops, so that they will not go and sell anything beyond that place. So when a family is armed with excision, the next thing they do is that they now urge the government to give them a gazette of the excision. The gazette is the final document that government is now saying this land covered by this excision and this survey plan belongs to so family. It is with that gazette that they will now proceed to go and get what they call a global C of O for the land. We'll still get to global C of O later. So the next one we have here is a deed of partition. A family has a land, maybe a family of different families joining together the whole land amongst themselves individually. Everybody take your own, everybody take your own. Go and sell the way you like. Then they do a deed of partition. That is some families have. And then it will most likely be identified by a survey. So that when somebody says he wants to sell land to you, he's a member of the family. No member of the family has any right to sell property of the family except the family head and principal members on behalf of the whole family. So if he now tells you, no, this particular part of the family land belongs to me, then what you are asking is, where is the deed of partition that is signed by the family head and principal members giving you that particular portion? If not, he wants to sell a portion of the family land illegally to you, and then you will be looking for trouble if you buy without that deed of partition. Then the next one is registered conveyance. This one has been in existence before the Land Use Act. Then people will simply buy a land from a family with the receipt agreement. They proceed straight to the Alausa land bureau, and then they will do what? They will give them a register. That thing that they prepare, they will stamp it, give a number. That's the way they put the number, this, volume, this, that. That's the way they put it. They'll have a number so that when he wants to sell, somebody will use that number and conduct what they call legal search. So that one was in existence before the Land Use Act, but immediately the Land Use Act came into being, which we look at all land in Nigeria we are now invested in state government and local government. So that was the end of the title, registered conveyance. So we now go to state government land, local government land. The state government will normally give what is called C of O, which everybody is familiar with, certificate of occupancy, while the local government will give what is called customary right of occupancy. Then with the advent of that Land Use Act, when the first thing that government will give you, the first title document they will give you, if you get a land from the government, is what they call letter of allocation. Letter of allocation will indicate the block and plot number, will indicate the square meter, will be attached with a survey. With that letter of allocation that you can now proceed to the same government and they will give you your C of O. Then the next title is consent. Now, when you have gotten a C of O from family, they have sold to you, you go to the government, they will give you a C of O. Or government has acquired land from the family. They have given you letter of allocation. You have gotten a C of O in your name. You now want to sell, resell to another person. That you that has the C of O, you are reselling to another person, the title that the government will give that person is not C of O again. They don't give C of O two times. They will give consent. So you attach both the consent now and the C of O is one title to that land. And if that subsequent person resells again, the second authority will get another consent. So it will continue like that. Even if they sell the land 10 times before you are about to buy it, you follow the history. You have to get the C of O, original, get all the consents. If anyone is missing in the chain, then you are looking for trouble, because with that single one missing, somebody can defraud another person with that land and you enter into trouble. But once you do search on the original C of O, you will see all the consents that has been granted on that land and to whom it was granted and the registration number. You see all of them. So when you want to buy, you have to demand for each and every one of them, the original, and hold it before you buy. So that's the much for consent. Now, there are federal government lands even before the Land Use Act and even after the Land Use Act, when all lands were vested in the state governments and local governments. The federal government land, they will also give you letter of allocation, just like the states. They will also give you deed of lease in place of consent, like FHA. In place of consent, the federal government is going to give deed of lease, but they mean the same thing. It's just semantics. In the federal government land, just like in every other place, there are so many frauds, and a lot of things can happen. Like in FHA First Act some years back, we have seen cases where I don't know what happened. They allocated the land, brought out files. Then lawyers went, saw the files, did their search, did everything. People bought. 1 week, 2 weeks later, problem started. What happened? Nobody knew. The whole files disappeared from FHA. And the lawyers that did the search, they will come and be telling their client, we did search here now. We did search here, but where is the file? I don't know what happened. Something happened. The whole thing were, and people have bought. So in such cases, the best thing to do, which is always good if you are buying for somebody, that time you did search, you will not stop and search. You request for certified true copy. Because it is the same FHA or the same state government that will certify that thing and put their stamp. If the file disappear tomorrow, you can sue the government, either federal or state. Is it not what you certified that this thing is existing here? Whether the files have disappeared here or not, it's not my business, but I've bought, and you are the one that confirmed that this land is from the government and is genuine, and this is my certified true copy. So any consequences I've suffered or losses I've suffered, you will claim it from the government. We will come later on to the status of federal government lands in the states. Then there is a court judgment. This one is the strongest. It's even better than C of O. C of O, unfortunately, can be overturned by court judgment. I'm sure you remember what happened in Magodo last year. They all have C of O. The family continued until they got to Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court declared that the land belonged to the family, despite the fact that there's already a C of O. And government has allocated those land, giving C of O. Because there can be superior information that probably was not disclosed when they gave the C of O, and the person goes to court, and then there is a Supreme Court judgment. If it's High Court, or for example, a Court of Appeal, maybe after 60 days, it becomes final judgment. Supreme Court, from the day they give it, it is final judgment, except they review their own judgment. which they hardly agree to. They will review, but if you ask for review, they will review, but they will hardly overturn their own judgment. It's usually difficult. So such problems do occur. Then there is irrevocable power of attorney for value. This one, most of the time, they have it in eastern part of the country. That's what they use most of the time. In place of deed of assignment, conveyance, most of them use irrevocable power of attorney. But that, there's a normal power of attorney which somebody can give you to, owner of a property can give you to manage his property or do one thing or the other on his behalf. But you can revoke it, say, I don't want it again, and there's nothing you can do about it. But if it's something that somebody bought from you and he decides to prepare a power of attorney, if it is what the states that area requires for registration, then the difference is that in the ordinary power of attorney, it will just be stated, and then they will indicate that the person, the donor, can revoke it anytime. But when it comes to title to document of something you buy, the lawyer must indicate that the power of attorney is for value and is irrevocable. That means the person that gave the power of attorney that sold cannot come to board and say, no, I'm no longer giving you the power of attorney. It's irrevocable. So that one is also a title, but it's also like the deed of assignment, which we use to go to the state government to grant you a C of O. Then we come to the Land Use Act. This Land Use Act was actually somehow operational in northern Nigeria under the land tenure law, but eventually was enacted and then for the whole country. And the difficult thing about it was that it was inserted into the Constitution. So amending it is as difficult as amending the Constitution itself. Two-thirds majority of the members of the House, Senate and House of Reps, and two-thirds majority of all the 36 House of Assembly. That's why most of the time, maybe very few amendments or none has happened in the Land Use Act. And then the purpose of the Land Use Act that land speculation was getting too much, and then families were holding government to ransom. Government will want to do road, which will benefit the country. The families will call terrible amount for them. They say after all, they are government, they can pay. And they were finding it difficult. It was hindering development. And there were family tussles as regards who owns land and who doesn't own, and boundary disputes here and there. So the idea behind the Land Use Act was to free the land from the grip of families, so that governors will have superior power over families, even though the land still technically belongs to the family, but the government will have superior power over them as regards how to determine who to give, who not to give, and then to use it generally for public purpose. For example, one of the most important sections in the Land Use Act is Section 28 that says the government can acquire your land, even if it has your full, once it is for public purpose. And public purpose can be defined as anything. It can mean creating road, hospital, bridge. It can even mean creating an estate for a better and orderly development of the town and society. So many things can come under public purpose. But it's just that if for example, a governor maybe look at your face, doesn't like your face, say, I'm acquiring your land and paying compensation. Then tomorrow, he acquires that land, he gives it to another person for the same, maybe residential purpose. If the compensation is not enough for you, or if you don't want, you can now go to court and say, okay, the governor, this one is not public purpose. This one is a private purpose. So that was the position. Immediately the Land Use Act came into existence, all land were now invested in the governor of the states, and then local government chairman to administer lands in urban areas under the governor, lands in rural areas under the local government. I've explained that the state government give a CFO, the local government give a free, what do I call it, a customary right of occupancy. Now, the legal position of federal government lands in Nigeria. Actually, they don't really, the federal government don't really own any land in any state now. There are tenants in every state. The state government or state governors are their landlord. If they want to acquire any land, they go to state government to give them. And the state government will give them CFO also that will cover 99 years. Naturally, after 99 years, it is still their land. They will still renew it. So whoever is buying from them automatically will get renewal as they also get a renewal. It's even a little bit safer because the federal government will always get their renewal. And once they get their renewal, whoever buys from them also gets its renewal. Of course, you know that time, my children. But it may matter because you can never know, or it's not automatic that even the state government will renew that CFO after 99 years. You can never know the situation of the country, whether they will agree to renew or not. So many things may come into play at that time. So, but during the Fashola time also, there was a Supreme Court judgment that said that yes, the federal government are the tenants of the land, but as far as building plan, approval of building plans are concerned, it is the right of the Lagos state government to do what? To approve. So all the federal government establishment like FHA and the rest of them, they now have to remove their hand from approval of building plan, but they have the master plan of what and what they sold. And thereafter, the other states also follow suit. And then we are just doing the same thing because what is established for Lagos state can also be established for other states. They only need to go to court and say, want to adopt this judgment that was passed in favor of Lagos state. So that's the position of federal government lands in Nigeria. The only exception is the Federal Capital Territory that was carved out in the middle of the country. That one, no state government has any power over that. That's why they have governors giving title in the states. You have the mayor also, or there's a land officer in Abuja that gives a title to all the properties in Abuja. No state government has any power over that one. That one is a special territory for the federal government. Now we go to the pitfalls. First, the general pitfalls. We have clauses in all land documents. If you get the CFO, you get a clause there. You get consent. The consent actually does not have clause, I say, but the clause in the CFO that gave birth to the consent is also applicable to the consent. Consent, anyway, is not anything particular. It is that deed of assignment or conveyance that the lawyer prepared. It is the same thing that they will submit to the state government. But why you will now know that this one is now a consent is that if you look at the back of it, you will see that same thing I told you, which is the registration number in volume this, at page this, is this. Sure, some of you will normally see it. Once you see that one, you know, oh, this one is already a consent. But it's not like the CFO that government will produce and give. It is that same agreement that the lawyer prepared that they will validate, stamp, and give that registration number. So when you want to make a search on that consent, it is that registration number you will use. and they will bring out the same. If you want ask for CTC of that, they will bring out the same exactly as that agreement is. That's what you will see as the consent. So when you look at the clauses, you have to be careful. Look at the clauses. Like I remember in first act there, the government, local government built the market, the Tree Road market. Over the years, there's a clause there that says this is a leasehold. After 25 years, 30 years, the lease has expired. Some smart people, when the lease remained 2-3 years, they sold off the thing, got the full value of their money. And some foolish people that don't care to look at those clauses, they bought. And the local government was saying that they would demolish it. They would say, no, that cannot happen. No. But some people that got wind that they will actually do this thing, they sold off their distance. Some people bought. The people that sold gained, the people that bought lost. Because at the end of the day, they were not allocated anything again because the lease has expired. And they won't bother to look at even the document that the person is giving them, that this is 25 years or 30 years. It remains only 2 years, or even the 25, 30 years has elapsed. They feel it doesn't matter. And most of the time, they don't call a lawyer to help them, advise them. They feel that they can just go in like that and do it. Land transaction is not like buying television. You want to buy television, do you carry anybody to assist you in Alaba? Just go there, see television, buy it. Once they give you receipts, you know you bought it from the shop, not that somebody brought it to your house, they stole TV, you bought it from the market, grab your receipt, you are covered. The land transaction is not like that too. It's very technical. Now, like in Lagos State, this letter of allocation, some people kept it for years. Instead of pursuing their CFO, they kept it. Then after some years, about 5 years or is it 8 years ago, there was a circular from Lagos State that they are losing revenue. Because until you get the CFO, there's a ground rent you are supposed to be paying every year. So they were not getting, they were losing revenue. They said they want to revalidate the whole letter of allocation. So some people that did not have knowledge did not go to validate their own. They lost their land. And some people still mistakenly bought from them without asking them for that revalidation letter. And those people ran into problem with the Lagos State government. Then the next one is, I said, carelessness, negligence, pride, or secrecy in not visiting the site. Some people will be negligent. They say, after all, is it not, I have the title document. Now, why am I going there to ask questions? Go and ask questions from the environment, from people, if there are people are living in that land, go. Some people will say, no. If I go and ask them, they will become aware that they are selling the property and they will buy it themselves. No. The first thing you should even do is to ask the person, the people that are living there, they are aware that you are selling the property because they are supposed to have the offer of a first refusal. When they say they are not interested, then you can jump. So that when you go there to ask them questions, they will not be antagonistic to you. They will give you the information that you don't even know about. And you ask questions around the environment. Don't be secretive about it and don't feel that it doesn't matter. No, you're doing too much. I once had a shop in Alaba with somebody, somebody deposited a title, a letter of allocation in Alaba, took some money from me. Quickly, he rented the place again. When he was using it, he rented it to somebody. Quickly, the next thing I heard, that somebody has bought it. Then the person that bought was a friend to the person in occupation. And I've told the person in occupation, immediately he came into occupation. This man took money with this place, so be aware. Be aware. I was battling with that one. Next thing I heard, he sold. What did he do? He went and forged another letter of allocation. Sold to that man. That man was a friend to the one in occupation. But because of pride, maybe they were not quite that friendly. He felt, let me just go and buy the shop on top of his head. I will now come and brag to him, Mr. Man, I'm the owner of the shop now. He didn't ask question. If he had asked question, the man would have told him that, this shop, they don't use and collect money. I don't think they'll pay. This is the person. So he bought. And both of us ended in court. And of course, he lost the shop. He lost the shop to me. Because what he has there was a forged letter of allocation, which did not enter the local government registry. So it's always important. Then the problem associated with global C of O. Do you know what global C of O means? Like that family something now. 100, 200. They can't give another C of O. So the family or that individual starts selling. When you come, he cannot give you the original, because once the original C of O is out of his hand, if he wants to sell it, person will say, where is the C of O? Cannot sell. But when it's global, we say, oh, you cannot have the C of O. You are not buying everything. So he sells and sells and sells. Some of them are genuine. Because you will not see, he may just show you, but he will not give you. But some of them that are genuine, and families that are genuine, they will keep on selling, and people will keep on doing constant upon constant on it. But then the place where they normally have problems, that you have to ascertain, because they may sell and they'll keep on selling, and they have sold everything and they'll keep on reselling. And then the most critical one is when somebody has a CFO that covers like 4+ of land. You will now come, you want to buy one. I cannot give you the CFO now, you're only buying one. He sells the second one, sells the third one, sells the fourth one. Then he will now use that CFO, sell everything, and disappear. The person that has that CFO will most likely drive the remaining 4 out of that place. Because he has the CFO. You don't have. It's true you bought, but actually it's not easy, even though the principle of first in time, equity and the other, but somebody has the CFO legally. It will be difficult, because whatever it is, wahala will start. So you have to find a way, except you trust somebody, you have to find a way to make sure that you protect your title. And the only way you can protect your title, apart from the person agreeing to sign something on top of the CFO indicating that part of it has been sold, the only way you can protect yourself is to do what? Go and start a consent. But the risk with that one is that you cannot start consent today and finish it today. Before you finish your consent, you may have sold the whole thing and then disappeared with your money, or maybe sold the whole and given that person the CFO. Because it's only when you finish your consent of parts of that global CFO, whether big or small, that if somebody carries the CFO, wants to go and do search, then immediately he puts in for CTC or search, they will say part of this has been sold. So if the person foolishly buys the whole, he is buying subject to your own part, because he has been given notice through search. But if you are just starting, except even if you put your deed of assignment and notice inside the file, most people don't go to look at the file when they want to buy. They make a CTC of the CFO. And when they make a CTC of the CFO, that thing you put inside the file indicating that you have bought will not appear. And you will not hold the person responsible, because actually there's no obligation for CFO for you to go and start looking at the file. The stage of the file has passed. You see, when somebody is selling through letter of allocation, you must see the file and make sure that that allocation letter is genuine. But once he has passed that stage, gotten to CFO, the obligation on the part of the buyer is mainly to do what? Look at, do a CTC and search of the CFO, which will not make whatever part interest is on that CFO to appear. You understand what I'm saying now? So it's a risk. Then, nature of land use. You may not see this one here. But what I want to bring out here is that even C of O, letter of allocation, they come in different parts. It may be for residential, it may be for commercial, it may be for agricultural purpose, it may be for a church, it may be for a school. So you will not lose your money, but if the purpose for which you bought it is defeated, the value may be defeated. What if it's an agricultural land and what you want is a place where you will live? If you want to go and build something, they will not allow you to build anything. You have a land, and it may not be worth the price, but you cannot achieve the purpose of it. Residential and commercial varies anyway, because most people will want commercial. If they have residential, you may have an opportunity, even with Lagos State now, to convert it to commercial. If it is along a road, maybe it's not inside a close, where people will say, start giving a quarrel that why is this person turning this place to commercial? If it's along the road, they will look at it and they may give you. You only need to pay them some money. So it's good that you know the nature of the land use associated with the land. Then cloning of C of O. You know, of course, Nigeria is a fast lane country. It's a fraudulent place. So people will some will do it in collusion, or they will actually arrange somebody, give them their C of O. They will look at it and see exactly the way it is. You know, these smart boys, Oluwole now, they will manufacture it, bring it out. I'm the owner. If you are not careful, you will buy. When you buy, you are buying it. In fact, you are buying nothing, because eventually the real owner will come. Two of you will end up in Alausa. Alausa will tell you your own is a clone C of O, and the person you bought from has disappeared. And if you are the agent, you will cough out more than the money you have chopped. Not just the money, the commission you have chopped. You will cough out more than the money you have, the commission you have eaten for that. So what some people do is that before they buy, they will request that original CFO to be brought to Laos, and they will go. They will carry it inside Laos. They will check. If it is cloned, they will tell you. If it's the main original, they will tell you. And don't think that those people that are doing cloning, they don't know how to go about it, because they know you may take an extra step. Ask them for their identification card, which they may have produced. And if they give you, you may not have the facility to go and check, oh, this international passport, is it genuine? This driving license, is it genuine? Because Nigeria is not that computerized. If it's a place where it's computerized, once you put the picture, put the number, the company will tell you, no, this one doesn't exist. But Nigeria is not like that. So we have so many of that problems. So that area, we also have to be careful. Then identity of the owner. That's the one I've just mentioned. If it's a genuine C of O, you also have to be sure that the person selling is the real owner. He may misplace his C of O. You don't even know that he has advertised that my C of O is missing, or somebody may steal it. And quick, he brings it out in the market. It's a genuine C of O. If you do everything, it's okay. But then you have to ask the person your identity, valid identity, to match with the name on the C of O. So if you want to go extra mile, if there's any way you can verify that ID card to make sure that it is the real person, you may have to do so. And that is why part of the time is good to visit the site, because if people are living there, they will give you an idea of the person that is actually the owner of the place, the person that has been paying rent and all that. Then spouse selling property of late husband, wife. Now, there is really nothing wrong with a wife selling the property of his late husband, or a husband selling the property of his late wife. But do you have an idea why it becomes a problem? Do you have an idea? Now, the reason is this. This man that is they are selling his property. You don't know him from Adam. In fact, even if he's your brother, as your brother may have married another wife somewhere, side chick somewhere. They only need to bring somebody somewhere and they say, do a DNA test. This one is also his son. And then all of them will start saying, you pay this person, you did not pay this person. So you don't know how many wives the person married, legally or illegally. And you know our marriage law is not that strong in Nigeria to say one man, one wife, others will be thrown aside. Once it is confirmed that the young man has played a side game, and the person comes, it's my father or it's my father that has this plot, then you will be struggling with them. You go there, they will be disturbing you. Maybe the one that is from the side chick is proper ally. There's nothing he will not do to make sure that he gets his own share, and you may have to cough out extra money again that you have not bargained for. So such situation, you request that such property must have letter of administration or probate. Letter of administration is obtained from probate register when the person dies intestate. Intestate means he has died without leaving a will. He will still get letters of administration. Then the people that you will validly pay to and be on the safe side is the people that are indicated in the letters of administration as the beneficiaries or the administrators of the states. Once you pay to those people, you don't have problem. Before then, you would have verified whether the letters of administration is also genuine, because that one can also be loaned or faked. So you have to identify. So either probate of the will, if the person left a will, they will get a probate. If the person did not leave a will, they will get letters of administration. So once you have those ones, you can validly buy. But if you think you know the person very well, you can go ahead and then continue the probate or rather the letters of admission or the probate in their name. Eventually, they will still sign for you. Now, there's another one there that you may not see there now. Mortgage, deposit of title deeds. When that person is selling to a subsequent buyer. Somebody has a C of O. You come to buy. They will say, I lost it. I've lost the C of O. He will give you sworn affidavit, this, that. He will give you certified full copy showing the listing, but he may not have lost it. It may be in the bank, maybe short deposit of this thing, and maybe the bank has not done mortgage, because normally when you deposit, bank will do proper mortgage to indicate that this is in the bank and the man has collected a loan. It may not be a bank. He may just drop the thing with a friend. Please give me one, just like happened with my own. Give me one. And then he will tell you that it is lost. And you believe it is lost. And you buy. You will start contending with the person that has giving him money. Just like that person contended with me and eventually lost the property. Now, another one is spouse selling property of his husband, wife abroad. It happens. You see a husband or a wife, especially women, they will carry the C of O. They will tell you, oh, it's my husband's property. They will call somebody abroad, you think is the husband. The person will be talking like the husband. It has happened to my friend. That one was smart enough. What did he do? He said, let me Google the name on the C of O. He Googled the name on the C of O and found out the man was serving a jail term in America. So if he had bought on the basis that the person speaking from abroad is the husband, while the wife is holding the C of O in trust for the husband, the man, the real owner, will eventually finish his jail term, come back. Mr. Man, what are you doing here? Until you have to go and collect your money from the woman. That there are no two ways about it. You must release that C of O. because you did not make proper inquiry, and you will lose the money. So those are part of the issue. There are so many, especially in this country. Then part payment transactions. Now, somebody has a property. He wants to sell for 50 million. You're expecting some money. You have only 20 or 30. You're expecting some money. Okay, I want to deposit some money. In the next 1 month, let's do an agreement. I'll come and complete. I'm sure you know the danger with that. Until you get the CFO and get your final deed of assignment, you are at risk. One, he may get a better offer. He will sell. But that is you will be glad to collect your money back. But the major one is that he may get a better offer, sell, and disappear with your own money, your own deposit. So if you don't know that person very well, don't try it. Wait until you have your money complete, cash and carry. So what do you do in such circumstances, which I've done now and then? If the person says no, the person has an ulterior motive. Okay, no problem. This man has 30 million, the property is 50. He's expecting 20 within 1 month's time. Let's do an agreement. Take the agreement, take the original title document. The two of them will go to bank. First bank will normally accept it. The agreement will be there. You submit the CFO, the title document, submit the agreement. Tell the bank, until these two people come here, don't release this thing we have deposited here. So the man is handicapped, he cannot do anything. If after 1 month, of course, the agreement will have terms. If after 1 month, I cannot complete, maybe take 1 million, take 2 million out of my money, whatever two of you agree, you will state it there, and that is what you will follow. Don't ask me if within 1 month, one of them die, what will happen, because that one na God will determine. So there are certain things that somebody cannot bother himself about. You pay the bank for that? Yes, you pay. And it will be most likely the man will tell you, I don't get money for that. It's you that should pay, because it's your interest that is being more protected. The bank will bank now. What do you do in bank that you don't pay? They'll just be there to deposit title this thing. When you go and deposit your gold there, and for safekeeping, it's the same thing, safekeeping. Will they not charge you money? If you don't want to pay money, go keep them for your house now. Now, method of payment. Avoid cash payment. You may say, yeah, it doesn't matter. He will sign an agreement. I've seen cases that people collected when there was cashless policy. You can collect 100,000, 200. Even with the cashless policy, your company can still collect 3 million in a day. So you collect 3 times, 4 times, 3 within 4 or 5 days. You say, no, I prefer to go pay this man. When you see money, that is better. He will tell you, also encourage you, I want my money cash. He will deposit that title document, sign this, sign that. Tomorrow, he will declare that his title document was lost. You will bring your agreement, bring everything. He will say it was forged. And two of you will start going to court. I've seen cases like that. Say it was forged. But if you pay to his account or pay through draft, and you are holding the title document, let him come and say his document was stolen or lost. They will ask, what is that money doing in your account? This draft that you received, is it not for so purpose? Because the draft, if you are using draft, you will turn the back of the draft or the front, state the purpose of the draft, and everything will be clear. He cannot mess up with that person. So avoid cash payment. Then selling through power of attorney. I've told you what power of attorney is. Most people, especially lawyers, somebody will give them power of attorney, deposit their title deed with them, say sell for me, except you are sure the lawyer or the person is genuine If not, whatever the man has signed, if that money does not reach his account, because most of the time it's the person that has the power of attorney, you will pay to, and then he will pay to the man. If that money does not reach his account, he will come struggling for his property, despite the fact that he was the one that gave him. In fact, he will deny. He said he didn't even give anything. He didn't even know. In fact, he will say if he was holding that document, it was because he was the person that procured the CFO for him. He didn't even know when he has gotten the CFO, and now he forged something power of attorney and sold. So always avoid that one, because there are lands are plenty all over the place. Go for the one that everything is straightforward, that there is no comma there. Then the next one, illiterate jurat. Now, if you are buying a property from somebody, immediately the person say, I don't know how to sign, no, I need to thumbprint. Then you must make sure that the lawyer that is prepare that agreement, we put what is called illiterate jurat there. In fact, once you are buying property from villagers, whether they can sign, try to put it, because tomorrow they will say, I did not know what I signed. I did not know what I signed. That thing, they signed it in they don't prepare agreement in Yoruba or Igbo. If so, I didn't know what I signed, it was a mistake. I didn't sell my property. But if you put illiterate jurat, it would have indicated that the contents of everything there was explained to him before maybe a court, that is the court registrar, or where are these lawyers that I can't remember their name now, that normally notary public, lawyers that are notary public. Not all lawyers are notary public. If you apply after 10 years or so, they will give you. So they will now stamp it that this was interpreted to this man in the language he understands, and he appears perfectly to understand the same before appending his signature or thumbprint thereto. Tomorrow, if he says, I don't know what I did, though, it's a lie. The law has covered you. Then the next one is a survey. Now, there are surveys, normally the family land. The survey will either fall through into government acquired land, or you will normally see it on the face of the survey, free from government acquisition or under government acquisition. Now, when it's under government acquisition, anyway, we'll come to that one later, but let me just touch it a bit. It's either it's ratifiable or it's not ratifiable. Because government may acquire property for so many purposes. There are the ones they will tell you, no, we will not sell. There are some they will tell you, you will pay us some money. So if it's something that will require ratification, then you have to negotiate with the person so that he will reduce the price, since you are going to buy again from government. Now, this survey generally, you need to chart it physically, take it to allows, especially when it's family property. If it's C of O, you don't need to bother that one, because that one is already okay, done by government. But that of family, you need to chart one to make sure that, like I said before, there's no conflicting interest there. And then again, when you are now using it to buy a property, try to do what? There's allows people that will come and can come to that site physically with this their GPS. It's like a computer. They will hold that survey and be in front of the land to confirm that this survey is for this land. You know why? I've seen that. Some people will have two different plots of land, either in the same vicinity or elsewhere, but two of them are not the same value. They will use this survey and be pointing to another land. Survey of a cheaper land points to another land that is or rather a survey of a cheaper, a costlier land. But that's the one they are pointing to is a very costly land. But the survey itself is for another land that is much more cheaper. And when you are going to do your agreement, you are going to cite the contents of that survey, thinking it is for this costlier one. and then you pay. It is that thing that is on the survey that you have cited in your agreement that you have bought. If tomorrow you come and start swearing, please, I swear to God, this is where this man showed me. They will say, but what is in your agreement? Nobody was there when he showed you that or this. You would have gotten a land, so to say. Maybe land that is existing somewhere else, but not that one. You come to that place, maybe the owner of that place will drive you away because it's not that one. So always come with them. When you come, they will look at the survey that you are going to cite in your agreement, and they will tell you, yes, it is this place. Because they will see the coordinates, the beacon numbers, and in Lagos, it's not like some other states are backward. They are still dealing with beacons. But Lagos, they have surveyed everything from the air. It's electronic now. So once they come with that, they are not looking for beacon that can be put and removed. They are not looking for the beacon numbers. It's already there. They will tell you, regardless of the beacon numbers on the ground, that, oh, this survey is for this place, or it is not, because they will see it from the coordinates. Now, another thing is when a property is you may not see that one there. When a property is unusually cheap, you have to be careful. You are not the wisest man or the luckiest man. You go to Lekki one. Properties, you can't get anything less than 300 million for, let's say, 800 square meters. And suddenly somebody is telling you 150. You jump, say, I will go and do Thanksgiving in church. No, now maybe court will end up. It's unusually cheap. They will not tell you, oh, the money hold the person for neck. If it's 300, if the market value is 300, the going price, and you are getting it for 280 or this or that, you may say, oh, well, the person wants to read. But if it's half the price, no, something is, that will tell you that something is wrong somewhere. The money hold them for neck. No, he wants to just quickly sell somebody's property, however much, then disappear with the money. So once it's unusually cheap, then your antenna has to be sharp to know that something is wrong somewhere. So the other one, I said that occasionally you may use video evidence for when somebody is signing documents. Maybe one thing or the other, you say, no, I did not sign. No, I didn't understand what you are talking about. The video evidence will be there to show that you actually signed the document that is denying. Then another one there. Double allocation. Double allocation. It's all over the place in Lagos, especially in Amu area. Government will allocate one plot of land 2 times mistakenly, and both of them has CFO. So at times, some of the things that caused that one was that at a point, government found out that there was some land in a scheme that they mistakenly did not allocate. And that land will just be there empty. And every other plot is developed. So the agents started going around. Whenever they see an empty plot, they'll say, "Oga, come, Bill, I say this one was mistakenly not allocated." And they will look, and they will take a chance. And they will allocate, give a CFO. Maybe the thing already has CFO. And the person has left it like that for years, and nobody is around that place, thinking that then you now have double. And then the new one they are located, you will quickly come and sell, and you will buy, and you have problem with the other, because that one has not been cancelled now. Except if that one has been revoked, then you can now say you are now buying a new one, but it was not revoked. And maybe there was no reason for revoking it. It's just like an oversight. So you will definitely, even if government will pay you back some money, it will take a very long time. That one, if you do CTC, you will not see nothing, because they will tell you it is genuine, and it is genuine. 2 of them are genuine. So at times, what may help you to do that one, see that one, is search. If you have a very good lawyer, or you have a very good person at Alausa. You will do search of one. Once you do search of one, you will see they will be referring to another allocation, the same plot. From the search, you will get it. So you now see that it is a double allocation, and then you just have to leave that plot and go to another one. Special pitfalls with family land. Difficulty of ascertaining ownership. Like I've said, this one is now Lagos State have done with their excision and the other, they have done something better about that. Selling and reselling. Selling and reselling by family members. This one has special pitfalls with the family property. So this person will sell, another person will sell, or the same family head and principal member will sell and resell. If you don't develop, they will resell. And when you come, they say they don't want this place to lie full. Let's go and give you, and they'll go and give you another bush that is not worth the value of the money you paid. At times they may resell because they need money and they think that the person is no longer going to come. So in such situation, make sure when you buy family plots, 1 plot, 2 plots, 3 plots, if you cannot keep a mega there to pay him, even if it's a gate house built inside that place, you can rent it too. But even if you cannot rent it, find somebody to say, there are people looking for accommodation. Now, what the person will solve for you will be more than the rent you will collect from that place. Because once the family comes, they will meet the person there. If they don't meet the person, try, when you are doing something, don't give a young man a single lady. Give somebody who has up to 10 children if it's possible. If it's not there, the children will be around. Even if it's a small one, they will come and tell daddy. Some people came here today pointing at this land. You will call the man immediately. The man will come and tell the family, why are you going to my land? Because if not, you will buy that thing. You go back. Then 2 months, 3 months after, once they sell, before you get back to the land, you'll be surprised a 2-story building has sprung up in that place, and it will be difficult for you to contend for that land there again. Then there may be family tussle as to who actually is the family head and principal members. Who actually is they keep on tussling. So, and then, until you buy from the family, until the family head and principal member signs for you, when it comes to family property, you have bought nothing. It's a litigation that you have bought. Then there may be actual or organized court cases from rival families. Even as you are buying a family property, you may not know that that family property, the vast area of land, another family is contending for it. And then you buy, maybe you have not developed or you have developed. After some years, some family will come with a court judgment, another family. Then you end up with ratification. You start paying again. But if you are not even in that land occupying it, they will quickly sell it to another person. And you have lost that land. And to be frank with you, most of the time, if there's no rival family, the family will create a rival family because they have finished selling. They will go and call another family. Come, let's make money. You won't even know, even you in occupation won't know that they are doing such a thing. And then suddenly, that one will go. They won't go beyond high court because there's no real case. They will just go to the high court after 2 months when it cannot be appealed on again. They will come. Okay? Now we get here. The other family will step aside. As they collect the money, they will share it again. And who is the loser? The person that has bought. Then there is a family incursion into government land. That one is now rampant in Lagos. They can hardly have an incursion into state government land, but usually federal. Federal is very far, and they don't care. You can see what is happening in 6th Avenue now. 6th Avenue, First Bank, and some part of 7th Avenue on Monile. They sold so many places. They sold so many places, part of the Sixth Avenue, land that has been allocated to people. They actually went to court, and then court gave judgments. But some people are damn too careless, even some lawyers, when it comes to property something. Now, in that Sixth Avenue, they were showing a paper, even the judgments. Now, first of all, the whole of that Sixth Avenue is about 50,000 hectares of land. And the judgment they have is about 5,000 hectares. Simple mathematics will tell you that this is about, even if the judgment is not challenged, it's about less than 10% of the land. But now they are selling, you won't even ask them, okay, you have this judgment, where is your survey? Well, no court judgment about land will come out without survey. If not, the court will become an author of confusion. That means once they say, oh, you have a plot of land in First Bank, you can go to any person's property and bulldoze it and say, this is my plot. If it's not, so there must be a survey. They won't check the survey to chart it to know what portion. They'll just be buying everything, selling. I have people that have bought, some even bought road, built house on it. And eventually, they will be demolished. They will be demolished, unfortunately. If it is not now, in future. Maybe when the person is retiring, now enjoying the fruits of his labor. So then identifying the real family consigned. That's when it comes, government has given, Gazette has given excision. How do you then identify the family involved? You are not a member of the family now, so you have to really ask questions. In that case, when you are buying from the family, you may ask them for at least to cite the original Gazette, the original excision, and then the original C of O. At least cite it to know that, is this family that has this portion of land. Then I've mentioned this one partly, government acquisition of family land. You know, in that C of O, there are that the global C of O they may give family. They will put it there, go and read it. 3 months you are supposed to, or 2 years you are supposed to develop it. And then the vast area of land lies fallow for many years. They may have sold to people, but no one to provide infrastructure. People will just keep it. And with the build and sell that is running in Lagos, some other people will come, say, government, we need this vast area of land. Once you give us, we put road, we put infrastructure. Whereas the family is waiting for government to come and put roads infrastructure. And government has found out that that thing doesn't pay them and they need the money for other things that they need to do. So those people that are now coming, they will say, we need this land. And they are providing it. And as they are providing, they are building houses, government is making more money. So what will government do? They revoke that CFO. But people have bought plots of land here. They will revoke it. They may pay compensation. But the compensation will be given to the family. And the people that bought may not know that compensation has been paid. Somebody will just come immediately, start fencing the whole place, start putting roads, start putting that. Then you have lost that land. You go to the family for the compensation. You know family now. Do you ever get any money out of them? So such situation, if it is government acquired, I've explained the one that is ratifiable and the one that is not ratifiable. If they show you a survey, you will not know whether even that that land that the government has acquired, whether it's ratifiable or not, before you will buy. So generally, it is advisable that these things are things you should know and take care of when buying a property for your clients or when introducing your clients to a property. If you don't know this thing, you tell somebody, the place has a Gazette, it has a excision. What if he asks you what is Gazette and the excision? You'll be looking like a novice. You will say you don't know what you are doing now. You have to know the title, the meaning of the title associated with this, and then you have to, even though at the end of the day, the person may have to go and get a lawyer, but at least you have to give him some guidance. You have to be part of the people that will help him to navigate this terrain of land buying, which is not easy for a novice to navigate. Even lawyers that are trained in it keep on making mistakes over and over it, not to talk of somebody that is not trained in it. So this is where we'll stop. We may have like another 10, 15 minutes for question and answers and contributions. So the floor is open.
Thank you so much, sir. That was quite informative with lots of good stuff. Thank you, sir. So please, questions from our online viewers, questions, comments. If you have anything in particular that you would love for me to enunciate or explain. So don't let questions beg questions. So let your questions come now. Okay, we have one. Any other person? You're still thinking about it. Okay, let's start with you. Okay, you too. Let's start with you, sir. Please.
Thanks so much, sir. Yeah, I want to know, all things being equal, especially when we are marketing, we tell them that, okay, come and buy your land with us, it's safe and secure. So we ask you, can I resell it? Yes. And you said it that, okay, usually in an estate, global CFO covers it.
Yes.
So this CFO in particular, this global CFO in particular, will it
The estate may be covered by registered survey, may be covered by gazette, may be covered by excision, may be covered by CFO, it may even be covered by ordinary family land agreement. So it all depends. Continue your question.
Okay, the global CFO in question, is it an original that will be given to an individual that will buy the land, or a photocopy? Or which document entitled that will authenticate that they are the owner of that portion of land?
I've explained it here that you cannot, in global CFO, even if it's 4 plots, by one, the person will tell you, you know you are not buying everything. I cannot give you. Except you buy everything at once. He will not give you. He tell you, you are not buying everything. I will not give you. So all the safety measures I've mentioned, that is what you will follow. If you are not certain about it, go and look for one, the land that has only one CFO. But if it's a global CFO like P1 Perfection and the other affiliates are selling, and you know this is an authentic company, then you don't need to ask them, let me cite the global CFO, because they may not even be in possession of it. It's from maybe a larger portion that they now carved out their own. And the person that has is still holding it, but you are sure that, oh, you are buying from people that knows where they bought from, and the general land is covered with the global CFO. So if you are not sure of the people involved when it comes to global CFO, don't venture into it. That's the advice.
One more thing.
Okay.
Yeah, as an individual, you want to sell a portion of land, and what are the things the buyer needs
To do to inherit the original documents of that property?
A buyer will generally look for a lawyer that will guide him. And all these things I've mentioned are things the lawyer will be looking out for. Is it a global CFO? What's the title document? Then you go do search, go do CTC to ascertain the genuineness of that. So all these things I've mentioned will guide you, guide the lawyer. So we have heard it now. Maybe some lawyers, you are bringing a client to buy a property. The person is relying on a lawyer, and you are now asking the lawyer, have you checked this one? Have you checked this one? Have you checked that? Maybe you are even the person that will have the mind of the lawyer to the things that he's supposed to do. Because most of the time that can be oversight, things that he's supposed to remember, he will not remember. So your client will know that you even know what you are doing, and the lawyer will respect you that, oh, some of the things I'm not aware of, or some of the things I've forgotten to check, you are the one reminding me to check them. And then that way you protect the interest of your client. Because when the problem comes, police matter, It's not only lawyer that they will be asking for. They will say who introduced you to the property. They will first of all come for the agent before they will come for the lawyer. So that's the position there.
Thank you.
Thank God. Certified true copy is certified true copy of. I've explained it that when you want to buy and you do a certified true copy of the document, government stamps it for you. If anything comes tomorrow and they start saying that oh, this one was not from this front, you tell them, but you confirm that this land is genuine from your registrar. You confirm that this particular CFO is genuine from your registrar. Is it not the CFO? Okay. But if it's a clone one, it's a different thing. But if it is that like I'm talking about double allocation now, that one you can use it to hold the government and say, it is not my fault. You did double allocation and I did CTC on one of them, and you confirm the genuineness, and it is that genuine one I'm holding. It is your fault. You have collected money 2 places. Give me my. You can take them to court and you can get your money. That's the essence of the certified true copy, because the government is stamping that, oh, this thing is from us. It's just like what is happening in the election tribunal. INEC stamp that these things are from us. Can they come tomorrow and say, no, these documents are fake? The government cannot say that the CTC you are carrying is fake, because they are the one that stamped it and they collected money from you. You have your receipt for the search or for the CTC before they will stamp it. They will stamp all the copies showing that this one is genuine. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for your class today. My question is, I've had a discussion previously that every land that is owned by the state government can only be owned by someone for 99 years, but by the 100th year that the government can take it back if they want. So how true is this?
Yes, they will. Even before the Land Use Act, there are instances where people have a kind of leasehold title from government that expired, and they went back and the government renewed it. So it's taking that even though you are a kind of a leasehold, not a freehold somebody, that they will give you back your. It will be unconscionable for them to take that land and give it to another person. Just because if it's a family, for example, and they're giving you a leasehold of 99, they may likely come back for their land. But for governments, they will give you back. They will renew it. That is why the Baba title in Nigeria is a registered conveyance. The ones they have gotten before the Land Use Act, because that one is if you have a registered conveyance, you apply for CFO, they will say it's not necessary. There's no need, and you self will be foolish to start applying for that. But that one does not have 99 years, so you don't have anybody to come back to and say, renew this thing for me. It's there. It's there. But 99 years CFO was introduced by the Land Use Act. But they will give. That's why I said, oh, if we will buy the one that maybe the federal government is saying, like First Act and all that, apart from the challenges and mago they are doing that is bringing on money in India, you may have another buffer, because the federal government got their own from states, and you got from this. So naturally, there is no way they will not renew for the federal. And what they renew for the federal government, your own is automatically renewed, because if it's an individual, you know, Nigeria now, when it comes to 99 years, your grandchildren, one political this or the other may start coming into play. But when it's covered by, they don't know who has bought from federal government. A lot of people outside Yoruba, a Muslim Christian has bought, so they cannot identify who has bought, and to just renew the whole thing for them, and then automatically everybody that bought from them is renewed regardless of tribe or religion. Is that understood now? Okay. More questions?
Second question, among all these documents that you listed, which one would you say is supreme from your experience?
Court judgments. Supreme Court judgment, nobody can, like Supreme Court, nobody, but it's rare now. If you have your CFO and nobody is challenging your CFO, you can't take it to court, say, authenticate this document, give me court judgment. They will not give you.
They will not give you because it's not necessary.
Okay, do we have any other person asking a question or a comment or something you need clarification about?
Contribution, I expect more questions now.
Anybody?
Or contributions. Maybe you understood what I thought. Well, so.
Okay, sir. Thank you for the class. It was quite
Thank
wonderful
God.
and eye-opening. You said something about okay, the landowner having CFO, right? So now, the buyer wants to own a portion of that land. The owner cannot release the CFO because he owns everything, and the person buying is not buying everything, like buying a part of it. So I'm actually taking it back to the part where he said, so the owner can sell like one plot here, one plot here, two plots here. Then we sell to someone who wants to buy everything, like the person's here.
That there's problem.
Then five breaks out. So what if my client now wants to buy just one plot? What do I do to protect his own interest such that there is no, once five breaks out, is also.
I've mentioned it, and I remember some people understand that I've mentioned it. That what you need to do is to do consent on that portion. And before you do consent, you are supposed to do, because you know it's one survey that covers it. You have to do what they call deed of partition. You have to separate through agreement and another survey that portion from the general portion. Now I said you will go and register it. Once the registration is finished, that man that wants to, I mentioned it, that one that wants to sell the whole, it now behoves on the person that is buying to go and do search. Once he puts in that search for that registration number, immediately it will indicate see consent. So that shows him that something has gone out of that 4 plus or 6 plus, as the case. Even if it's large global, as people are doing their consent, once you put in the registration number of that 100 plots, if they have done on 200 plots, if they have done consent on 150, you will see all of them appear. See consent, see consent number, this number, that number, that number, that number, that. All the people that have registered, this thing is protected. But like I said, between the period that you buy and the period that the consent will come out, anything can happen. So that's why I say, if the person agrees, take that original CFO on the surface of it. At times they may not agree. On the surface of it, say, oh, this one plot has been sold to so person. Anybody that carries that thing, if he wants to go and sell it, the person will say, what is this thing written on the surface? And the person will be given notice automatically. And remember, immediately all those portions are registered. That original CFO becomes like useless. But take note, if you are buying part of that portion, try to make sure that the original CFO is still intact. Because shortly before, if you start that consent, shortly before they will give you the consent, especially if it's a small global CFO, they will request, just like they will request for the original CFO to be cited before they give you consent. They may also request for the small global CFO to be produced. They will just cite it. They don't care who is sold it before they will grant consent for that portion. But if it's a large global CFO, they don't normally do that at Alasa. They will ask you, the person that has that original CFO, to sign that he has sold so portion. Because if they don't do that, it becomes cumbersome or impossible for them to be calling for that single CFO, and somebody will be carrying it to Alausa every now and then for citing. So Alausa will normally say, once it's that large one, just get a letter. They already know the CFO, they know the person that has it. They will see the signature, they will see that that portion has been sold to you. They will do what? They will do your consent for that portion. That's it.
In other words, it's not safe to buy land when CFO is not.
If it's large global one, like I've told you, P1 Perfection, some other good companies, they will buy a portion of the global CFO. But you are sure the person you are buying from that they're authentic, the company you are buying from they're authentic, then you can go ahead and buy. Like Lakeview, Lakeview Extension, Amuwo. It's global CFO, but people are buying and buying because they know it's authentic. They know that that kind of thing has not happened of somebody trying to. Once you are sure that the property, the particular portion has not been sold to another person, you will buy and get your consent. So it's not as if it's something you cannot do. But when it comes to a small portion of 4 plots of land, you have to be sure the person that is going to hold that original CFO before you get your consent, so that you will not go and do something negative with that CFO. And by the time you want to do your consent, it becomes a problem. Because even if you just drop that thing with somebody, please, after selling the 4 plots, you may drop it, say, please give me money, I still have this land here or this plot. And then the person gives him money, and then eventually, the time they will cite the CFO, they will ask the person to bring it so that they will give you consent, and the person will say, I'm not bringing it. And it's no longer in position of the person that sold to you that will bring it to our house, and they will not give that consent until they see that original. Especially if it's just 1 plot of land and the person built four duplex or how many buildings inside, they must see it. That one later cannot cover it. 1 plot of land, no. They must see that original CFO before they grant consent for maybe one of the duplexes inside. I've seen one where they sold 4 duplexes to 4 different people inside one CFO. Okay.
So, yeah, you're saying before the consents can be approved by the appropriate source, there is a need to cite the CFO.
Especially if it is 1 plot, they must cite it.
They don't care to know whether they have sold it into that is the duplex and 4 inside. They must see the original, even because they know you are doing deed of partition. You have bought one inside the original CFO. But they cannot grant it until they see and confirm, because the government can be sued by the person that that has the original CFO. So why did you agree to give consent for part of my land when I did not sell it, or part of my property when I did not sell it? So they will cite it, and when you bring it, they cite it. They will make photocopy and keep, and they'll have their record that thing has been brought by you.
Okay, what if the CFO is still in process, like it's not yet out? Is it okay to buy into?
That's another risk pitfall. If the person has a letter of allocation, that's the situation you are talking about. Somebody has a letter of allocation, is processing CFO, he wants to sell to you, ask him, is the CFO in progress? If it's in progress, try to take over the process from him, so that when the CFO comes in his name, you'll be the one to collect it. Because if you don't do that, you just reminded me of another pitfall. If you don't do that, or you are not aware, you are bought with letter of allocation, you will get the CFO and sell the property, and you don't have anything. So that's another pitfall that I didn't even remember, but it's a pitfall, a very big one. So you have to be careful and make sure that the CFO is not in process. And if it's not in process, what a louser will normally require is for him to sign, give you, put his picture, sign authorization that whenever the CFO comes out, you should be the one to collect it on his behalf. That's it.
So it will carry one's name, the CFO in question now.
We will carry the name of the man. I cannot carry your name. The name of the man. Then when you now join it with the agreement that he has, the assignment that he has given you, you can now go and do your consent. And by the time they say you want to see the CFO before you give the consent, then you already have the CFO, you give them. Because they cannot start your consent. Or even if they start, the CFO must come out before they will give you the consent. Any other question?
Any other question from? Okay.
Thank you, sir, for the expository seminar you just given us. Does it mean that a parcel of land cannot be resold with to another person without a governor or government consent?
The way it is that even though in the Land Use Act, they will say you will obtain the prior consent of the governor before you sell, but it's not practicable. Nobody does that. You once a property is covered by a CFO, once you see the CFO ascertain, buy your property, put in for your consent. Nobody is going to tell government, oh, this person bought before he obtained the consent. It's not even practicable. How can you be waiting for somebody wants to sell his property? Consent may take another 6 months or 1 year, and then the person you that wants to buy will start waiting for consent before you buy. So it's not practicable. Collect your CFO, make sure everything we have discussed is in order and is genuine. Then apply for your consent. The government will give you all the consent that have been given. They don't ask, how come you bought? You have presented this without getting the prior consent of the government. In any case, technically, the buying is not complete. It's assumed not to be complete because the title has not passed to you until the government stamps it. So the assumption is that based on the provision of the Land Use Act, the transaction has not taken place. As you are applying, it's like you've gotten the prior consent of the government before eventually they will give you that consent. You understand what I'm saying now? So technically, you have not bought. So it's like you have not offended any law. Because it's assumed that, oh, it's until they give you this consent that the government has approved your transaction. Meanwhile, before then, the transaction is in abeyance. It has not concluded. So that's the explanation of it as regards that provision of the Land Use Act. So there's nothing wrong with you are seeing a CFO buying once everything is in order. Buy, put in for your consent. The government will give you consent. The governor. Is that understood, sir?
Thank you so very much, sir. Can we please appreciate our special host today? Thank you. We are so grateful. Yes. Do you have any final concluding words for us?
The concluding was that they have to make sure that even though they are not lawyers, they have an idea about this, and they have to make sure that with this idea that they have gathered, that even if they can't do most of these things, they will alert their clients to the fact that you cannot just buy a property anyhow. You cannot just come and introduce your clients. For example, somebody has told you about a piece of property and you introduce, this property is very good though. Where is the owner? Where is the owner? I want to pay immediately. Won't you advise the person? Okay, no, this is not like buying. Don't be bothered so much about you want to collect your commission. If you are only interested in commission, very soon you won't have clients that will be ready to do any business with you. In fact, the person may deliberately say, where is the owner? I want to pay. He may be testing you. I want to pay the check. You are saying, let us go and pay. Let us go and pay. The land is good. That may be the last time he may call you to look for land for you because he will know that you are selfish. Maybe he's just testing you. So those are part of the things that you